What's up, everybody? We back up in here, HellaFlagrant Podcast. It's your main man, Flagrant DM. I'm in here with my brother, Sean B. Flagrant. And as y'all already know, we had to do a special Super Bowl edition. It's going down, man. Some people didn't think these two teams would be the teams that we would be looking at as the last two in the NFL. Some people may say they both deserve it. Los Angeles Rams, New England Patriots. It's going down February 3rd in Atlanta.
Yeah, for real. Crazy games last weekend. I mean, watching both teams pull it out pretty much in overtime. Of course, the Rams beat the Saints with a 57-yard kick from Greg Zuerlein. That was unbelievable. But, I mean, of course, the main topic of discussion, I mean, for the last week has been the missed call or the no call, helmet to helmet or pass interference, whatever you wanted to call, against what's his name, Roby Coleman.
Yeah,
against that dude from the Saints. What's his name? Tommy Lee Lewis.
Yep.
I can't forget that. Tommy Lee. Yeah. Anyway, Tommy Lee Lewis went up for a reception on the right sideline. The Saints were up right at, it was tied 20-20. Saints were driving. It was right at the goal line, probably about the 15-yard line, I guess you could say. Drew Brees with the ball to the right sideline. Boom. Just collision. No call by the refs. The ref was literally standing right by there. Nothing. No call. Yeah. Just let it go. Saints went out having to kick a field goal. They led the game, of course. Like I said, the Rams came back, tied it, went in overtime, and then the rest is history. Drew Brees to an interception. Nobody's worried about that at all. They're just worried about this missed call. I mean, yeah. What did you see?
I mean, I didn't watch the game in real time. I had to go back and rewatch it. And obviously by the time they slowed it down and they were playing it in replay, it looked like a pass interference. And the NFL even went back and said that it was a missed call, which obviously they can't do anything about once the game has been played. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. Right. But as we all know, in the course of a game, these kinds of things happen. Bad calls happen all of the time. And so, I mean, you had overtime. You still had a chance to, kind of win the game. And you didn't. Not to say that, again, that play would have – you can't ever guarantee one play. You know what I'm saying? As big of a play as it was, as big of a play as it could have been, you can't ever guarantee that one play would or would not, change the shape of a game. We have what we have. It is what it is, and that's kind of what That's kind of where I'm at with it. Saints fans not as happy about it. One in particular, the guy that I guess he owns several car dealerships, and so he has billboards that he uses for his car dealership advertisements that he buys in different cities. Well, some of those are in Atlanta, and he decided to buy some billboards that expressed his displeasure with the call here in Atlanta for the Super Bowl, which I plan to try to take a picture in front of sometime this week.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Definitely. Only because anything that takes a direct shot at the NFL and its lack of consistency on play calling, I'm for. Because at the end of the day, that's the real root of the issue. I mean, yeah, the Saints are not going to the Super Bowl, however you want to look at it. But the real problem is NFL calls are highly inconsistent.
Extremely. And I mean, look at this. This is the example I want to give you for that exact thing. They didn't call the pass interference on it. They let it go. The Rams won the game. Everybody's going up in arms about it. How does the NFL fine the player that hit him, the head-to-head, Robbie Coleman? How do they fine him? How do you fine him after the play for a helmet-to-helmet hit, but you don't make the call?
Right.
Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you can't take money out of this man's pocket and, say, okay, well, you was a helmet hit. Well, why didn't you call it? Why weren't you able to go back and replay? I know that you're not allowed to do that, but if you're going to go as far as to take money out of a man's pocket for a call that you didn't call, it can't. It's just like, okay, basically like if you drive down the street drunk and no policeman catches you, you're not going to get a bill in the mail for a DUI. You know what I'm saying?
We think you were driving drunk. We're going to send you this.
Right, exactly. Like just because you see it, but you didn't actually give somebody a ticket, you can't be like, oh well, you know what? I know that dude was drunk, but I let him go, so I'm just gonna send him a bill for it. Nah, that doesn't work like that.
Nah.
Like, I'm not. I mean, it doesn't make any sense that the NFL can get this wrong and try to justify it later on by taking money away from somebody, or basically coming out and sending or calling Sean Payton saying, "Oh, we missed the call. It was our fault." Basically saying you could have won the game, but because our referees decided not to do it, oh well, sorry. It makes no sense. I don't get it.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, it makes no sense. Unfortunately, this is where we are, and and the Saints are those who want to come will be in Atlanta on the sidelines with us watching the game. But unfortunately, that's the NFL. Dez Bryant, was it a catch or not? We have numerous examples of situations where either touchdown calls, pass interference calls, no calls have been highly inconsistent. And
the tuck rule was the most famous blown call in the history of the world. And I know that dear and dear to my heart. And I'm not trying to sit here and say I was happy that the Saints didn't get it because I wanted the Saints to win. But it made me feel kind of vindicated. Like, look, it happens to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just the Raiders or any other team. Like, it happens every single year. At some point in the year, somebody's going to get a terrible, terrible call that probably could have changed the outcome of the game. But I mean, it's the thing about it. These are humans too. They're gonna make bad calls. The NFL's just got to figure out a way to be able to basically either see. The thing about that is you can't review everything because then the game's going to be 7 hours long. I don't want that.
No.
But on certain situations, you should be able to review it, and I think that should be fair for everything. I understand that it goes both ways. It should go both ways. Like I mean, a play like that is a serious thing. That it like you said, it didn't hurt him, but.
Yeah, and you do, like you said, you get into a slippery slope where you get to start to reviewing everything, and you can't review everything, but some of these, once they impact the game, and not to say NFL is the only sport with this problem, because there have been in recent years some NBA calls and playoffs that have, towards the end of certain games have, I won't say dictated, but they've changed possibly the outcome of some games. And so again, I mean, you always have to put the human factor in it because, I mean, they're human, and not to say they shouldn't, and they should be better trained than the average person, but a ref could get caught up in the moment and blink and miss something. You know what I mean? It's a high intense, high impact game. You could breathe for half a second and miss something and then have to make a decision on what you may or may not have seen. And so, I mean, from their side, I see where it's hard too, but I don't know. It's just a tough one. It's a tough situation to be in. But regardless, the Los Angeles Rams and the New England Patriots will be the ones playing here in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Now, everybody that I've spoken to doesn't want to bet money against Tom Brady. I don't like to either after watching, what happened to Atlanta. And just numerous other teams over the years, it's hard to want to bet against Tom Brady. But if any one defense can kind of rattle him, is LA the one?
You know what? I've struggled with this. I talked to you earlier about this. Just trying to see where I was going to go on the sides. I know America doesn't want to bet against Tom Brady. I don't blame him. I wouldn't either. But just like you said, there is a but in this. This defense probably can derail Tom Brady a little bit. Now, the only thing that has to come from this is Jared Goff. Can Jared Goff put enough plays together to keep his team in the game? Me saying that is Aaron Donald, Ndamukong Suh, once in Dante Fowler, or Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters, all them boys back there on the defense, they can only do so much. Tom Brady's going to score. He's not going to – even if they're playing their best game, Tom Brady is still going to score. Can Jared Goff and Sean McVay's new high-powered offense compete on this level in the biggest stage in front of everybody? Can they put up enough points to outduel the Patriots? That's the biggest question about, because I think the defense is going to come and play for the Rams. I just don't know if Jared Goff can produce for the Rams.
Right.
So
I'm kind of there with you. Jared Goff, obviously hit or miss when it comes to producing the numbers that you need offensively. I do think sometimes LA does rely a little too much on his defense to make things happen. And if that's the case and the defense starts to wear down, you know what Tom Brady's going to do. And so that's an easy one for him. I actually am not betting on this game, but in my heart, something tells me LA may pull this out, though. I don't know why. It's not based on any factual evidence or any sort of like, oh, they're the better team. Just something tells me 2019 is going to be close, but I think LA may edge this out.
Well, let's think about this, though. I mean, in the beginning of the season, when everybody looked at the Rams before any game was played, everybody says, "Oh my God, look what the Rams have! They have Gurley, they have Aaron Donald, they have Donald Sue, they got Brandon Cooks, they got all these big high name players," and everybody's like, "They're going to win a Super Bowl for sure. They're going to win a Super Bowl for sure." Why does it change now? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, they were the number one team for the most part during the season. What's the difference now? I don't understand why it's. I get it who Tom Brady is. I get that he's chasing greatness. I get that. Like, I understand all of it completely. But when the season started, throughout the whole entire season, and this team was number one, nobody said anything about Tom Brady beating them in the Super Bowl. They weren't even worried about it. They were looking at the Patriots, and they were saying, well, the Patriots don't look very good, or the Patriots not doing this, Patriots not doing that. Now, I'm not saying that they can't turn their season around, because they did. They, did what the Patriots do, and they got back into the Super Bowl. But that doesn't mean that this team, who has been number one the entire year, can't beat them. I don't understand. Like, I'm not. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, any given Sunday, if you suit up right, anybody could lose. The Patriots haven't won all their games. They found ways to lose as well. And so, while, like I said, a lot of people are putting the money, are scared against, scared to bet against Brady, I don't see why LA couldn't win. They've got the pieces. They've got the defense, like you talked about. They've got Gurley. Jared Goff having an average, slightly above average game is all you need. You know what I mean? I don't need you to have the best game of your career. I just need you to not throw a few interceptions, keep the game manageable, keep us, you know what I mean, in a position to win the football game. It's possible. And so I'm not writing LA completely off and just saying that they can't win. But you always got to be worried about second half Brady and Belichick. So, right. We'll see. I'm ready for the game. I think, America's kind of ready for the game by now. And so we'll see what happens, man. Super Bowl Sunday. I'm interested. I'm hyped.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a good game either way. No matter who wins. I mean, there's going to be records set if Tom Brady obviously does win. I mean, that'll be his sixth, which will pass Joe Montana and everything like that. So that's a plus. Bill Belichick obviously will be the winningest coach, I think, in NFL history in terms of one. Well, no, that's wrong. But he will still be up there in terms of the current active players. I mean, our active coaches in NFL, obviously. And then, of course, to the other side of it, and the Rams win. I mean, the Rams will have won with their the youngest coach in the NFL right now, which is Sean McVay. And also, the fact that Jared Goff and Aaron Donald and all those guys down in LA will win. I mean, you got to understand that LA is going to go crazy.
Yeah.
If they win that game.
Man. Oh, yeah.
Like, I might have to take a little bit more time off and go down there to that parade when I get back.
Yeah, that thing may be pretty clean. So
LA, yeah, it's gonna be insane. But either way, like you said, it's going to be a great game. I mean, it's the Super Bowl. I mean, it can't ever be a bad game. You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be something to see. So outside of that, a few other small NFL pieces of news. I got the alert on my phone. Antonio Brown is making it clear that he doesn't want to go anywhere else but San Francisco.
Right.
Again, like I will say it again and again. I'm not mad at that. He can come. We want him. At what price, though?
Right.
What are we gonna have to give up to get him?
Right.
And that's what I'm worried about.
Well, a few things I thought about when I saw this. First of all, Antonio Brown is not helping himself by putting or photoshopping a 49ers jersey on himself and posting it to the Instagram. You still play for the Pittsburgh Steelers until...
Oh, no, he doesn't. He knows he's not going back there.
Well, see, that's the thing. We've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers not give in to anything. Le'Veon Bell didn't go back to the Steelers, but he didn't play football last year either. Now, I'm not saying Antonio Brown is not going to play football next year. I don't know that. But what I am saying is that you putting on another team's jersey and saying, I'm going here, when another team has you under the contract for another 2 years, it's probably not the smartest thing to do. No. But I will say one thing. If I was the owner, I'm not giving you to the San Francisco 49ers. I don't have to do that. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can cry and yell and scream all you want to and tell me what you want to do, but in this situation, I'm the parent. You're not about to sit here and yell and cry and whine and expect me to give in to what you want to do. No, like, you're going to do what I want you to do.
But I agree with that. I agree that, you're under contract. You signed a contract. This is the team that's paying you. You should have just a tad bit more tact. If you don't want to be there, fine. We all get it. Just have a little bit more tact in it. But at the same time, again, like I'm starting to notice a trend around the league that there are guys willing to not play versus deal with some of the, bullshit that seems to be happening in some of these teams. I don't know what it is. I can't call it. I'm not an NFL player. I'm not in some of these locker rooms or in some of these front office meetings. But there does seem to be a noticeable trend where guys are like, you know what? I played. I've got some money. Maybe I've done some other things off the field to give me some other money up. Y'all are about to slave me, you know what I mean, for this check. And so there are guys that are standing up and stepping back. And I'm just interested to find out more about why, like what that is. Like what is so terrible in your locker room or in your front office that you could be willing to just not get your check of millions of dollars.
Right. And I mean, and let's think about that. Let's think about that too, because I mean, the main person that it came from was in the same locker room with AB. Right. So, I mean, what's really going on inside the Steelers locker room? Because the thing about it is, last I checked, $14-15 million is a lot of money for anybody.
A lot.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand you like to sit at home and relax, but I mean, that's still a lot of money. Right. Millionaires, billionaires still ain't just going to give $14 million away. You know what I'm saying? Like, and neither is AB, who's making 17. But I mean, if he does it or if he just refuses to play, what is the problem? Is that locker room so bad? Because a lot of the reports I'm hearing is that, okay, AB was a diva. AB didn't want to do this. He didn't want to do this. He thought, he could do whatever the hell he wanted to do, when he wanted to do it, how he wanted to do it. They had a report that came out today about him basically like when they have training camp. And I guess they go off to a certain place and they all stayed in the dorms. He rented an Airbnb because he didn't feel like he wanted to do that. He didn't feel like staying in the dorm, which is silly as hell. But it does reflect a lot on you when you're the only person that's staying in your own place and the rest of the team is playing together. We know about the fact that he flies jets in to the first day of training camp. Like, I mean, that's weird as hell. I know people come in there that try to bring stylish cars, but to fly your own personal plane in there, to drive a bus the next year, to have it's cool, but it's a little bit too much. Like if I'm a player on that, on that sideline and I'm maybe not getting the money that I think I deserve, and I'm showing up every day working my ass off, and this dude is coming in here missing practice, not showing up for games. Because, let's be clear, he did not show up a whole week for the last week of the games, and they could have made the playoffs. So, I don't know if it's him or I don't know if it's the locker room. Maybe Mike Tomlin has something's going on with him. Ben Roethlisberger, I've heard about things about him. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I don't necessarily think it's all the NFL. I just think it's something going on in that locker room that's toxic, and I'm pointing the finger at everybody.
Yeah. It's and I have a feeling that once he either gets traded or Pittsburgh Steelers keep him and maybe he plays, doesn't play. I think once whatever happens to him in terms of being signed or not signed, we'll find out more about all of this. So I'm interested to find out what is really kind of going on in there. But for now, honestly, obviously it's just speculation until something happens. But he's definitely making it clear that he does not want to be a Steeler for whatever reason. So we'll see how that plays out for AB. All right, so in other NFL news, kind of a little interesting situation. Your quarterback of the homeless Raiders, Derek Carr, kind of took exception to some things that Max Kellerman had to say and basically challenged him to a fight. You know what I mean? He went on his Twitter and he added UFC and Dana White and said he wanted to bring them into the octagon and fight them over some words that they had to say. Obviously, Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith, because that's their job to talk shit for the most part, had more shit to talk after that happened. And it's kind of turned into a little bit of a thing. We've seen it in basketball. Charles Barkley, obviously, he acted like he was going to fight Draymond, which
that didn't work out.
Come on.
Chuck was scared as hell.
But, again, we run a little podcast here. We say some things. We speak our mind, and maybe somebody might take offense to something I say. But I don't think I say anything that would make somebody want to fight me. And if you do, we could do it all day, every day. But I don't think I say anything that's like fight worthy. Do you think what Max Kellerman said was fight worthy?
No, he was true. It was true.
All right.
I'm gonna be all right. Look, I'm gonna be 100% honest. Oakland Raider fans, I know you might not come out and say it. I think deep down in your heart, you probably feel it. I know John Gruden feels a little bit of it too. Derek Carr is a good quarterback, very good quarterback. He's had a bad few years ever since that injury he had against the Indianapolis Colts on that Christmas Eve game back in 2016 when the Raiders actually had a chance to go to the playoffs. They did. They obviously lost. Derek Carr was hurt, was not the same since. Now, the reason I'm saying all this is because of this. We all know about his brother David Carr, who was basically beaten out of the league because he just took hit after hit after hit. David Carr wasn't the same. In comes his brother Derek. Now, Derek is a good quarterback. He is not a great quarterback. He is not elite by any means of the word. Derek has a tendency to shy away in the pocket when he feels a little bit of pressure coming towards him. And rightfully so. He has gotten hit quite a few times, but everything that Max Kellerman said about his, him not being a tough on some things, I kind of agree with. Derek doesn't always make the best decisions. He gets skittish in the pocket, and because he gets pressure, sometimes he throws the ball on the floor to another team, into the stands, things that he doesn't have to do. Yeah. And I know a lot of quarterbacks do that, so I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, well, he's the only person that does it. But Max Kellerman wasn't wrong for saying it. Yes, it might have came out in the worst way, but it doesn't mean that Max Kellerman or Stephen A. Smith had any, they didn't have it. They were saying it because they felt it. And the thing about it is, a lot of people feel it. I think Derek Carr at this point right now is taking offense to it because he knows that his time in, I don't want to say Oakland, Las Vegas, San Francisco,
Los Angeles,
wherever the hell they're going to be at, might be coming to an end pretty soon. I think the Kyler Murray situation, him coming out and everybody talking so highly of him, John Gruden praised him, is kind of bothering him. I think they know that Derek, even though he had a $125 million contract, there is an out this year that the Raiders can take. That will only cost him $7.5 billion, which means it's not that big of a deal to let him go when you have 3 first-round draft picks.
Yeah. I mean, now, again, if you guys need somebody to quarterback the Reno Raiders, Derek Carr sounds like a fit for that. But he like you said, he's a good quarterback, not a great or an elite quarterback, and so anybody who can manage a game may take his spot.
Right.
I don't think it's going to take somebody to jump out the gym and be ridiculously awesome to take Derek Carr's spot. Unfortunately, you know what I mean, and that's not me hating on him. I'm just for the position that he plays, he's okay.
Right.
And that's kind of it. And so back to the main part of this story, I don't think Max Kellerman saying that is worth him jumping on Twitter, getting all in your feelings and challenging them to a fight. Like that, I really think that's way over the line and out of pocket, sir, because, okay, yeah, he said you weren't that tough or whatever the case may be, but Max Kellerman sits behind a desk all day long. Maybe he goes to jail. I don't know. But he doesn't train to get hit by 200 and 300-pound linemen every day. So if you put him in an octagon with you, Derek Carr, you might win that fight.
Right.
Not going to even go there. But why? Like, why is that even a thing? Like, you went way too far by taking it there.
Yeah, I mean, everybody gets criticized all the time on sports shows. That's their job. That's why a lot of people don't watch ESPN or these other shows because they don't want to hear certain things. And it's fine. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we've all dealt with KD and his sensitivity, for lack of a better words. But I mean, if you don't want to deal with it, just don't worry about it. Like you said, Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith are not anybody on your level. Their job is paid to talk about you.
Right.
Just let them talk. It's not going to change anything that you do. It's not going to change anything, who you are. I'm on here talking about you. You know what I'm saying? You definitely don't want this at all. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
I'm not Max Kellerman. You know what I'm saying? Like, at all. And I'm not trying to challenge Derek Carr. I'm just telling you straight up, don't just leave it alone. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
That's not what that's not what you want to do. Play football. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Do that.
That's exactly the best thing for you to do is to go out and play and show Max Kellerman he's stupid as hell. That's it. That's all you have to do. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that Gruden wasn't too happy about him being on TV like that, or not TV, but being on social media and talking. And now it's a big spectacle. So now it looks like, his Oakland Raiders are not doing what they're supposed to do. But I can guarantee you this right now, 100%, Oakland Raider fans, Derek Carr will not be in Las Vegas whenever they finally get there. I can promise you that. For sure.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're getting ready for Super Bowl, man. It's about to go down. Flagrant Foul, you'll see us. HellaFlagrant shirts will be in Atlanta. If you see us out there, anybody that's watching this, if you're going to be out there, you see us, stop and take a picture with us, man. Because we're going to be out and about. We're going to be in traffic, man. HellaFlagrant all over the city of Atlanta. Make sure you stop, point us out, see us, take a picture with us, post it on your page, do whatever you got to do with it. But we're going to be out there, man. Super Bowl 2019, it's going down.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's going to be a good weekend. I ain't been in Atlanta in a minute, so I'm looking forward to it. I mean, everything they got to offer down there, it's going to be a hell of a time. So, like I said, come check us out. We're gonna have, not have anything, but we're gonna be running around taking pictures, doing as much as we can. Just basically trying to enjoy the event, you know what I'm saying? So, like he said, come take a pictures and enjoy it with us, man. Party with us. We're gonna have a good time, man. This is the end of football, unfortunately, for a while. So, I mean, let's do it with a bang.
Yep. And on that note, HellaFlagrant, we out till after Super Bowl. We'll probably be back for the All-Star special. So check us out.
Peace.
Peace.